but it is at this time 6:45, and this is the Town of Plainfield Pension Board meeting agenda for May 11th, 2020. And the Pension Board is going to hold this regular meeting at 6:45 via Zoom. I'd like to call this meeting to order, and if we can get a roll call.
Art Gagne.
Kathy Kendrich.
And Kevin Cunningham.
Becky Hewitt.
We heard that Tom will not be attending tonight, and I do not see representation from the Board of Education, so Christy is not on as of right now. Item C, which is approve the minutes from March 9th, 2020. A chance to read through. Entertain a motion at this time to accept the minutes.
So moved.
I'll second that.
Motion and a second. Any other discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Public comment? Hearing none, we go into new business. Item number 1, which is considered an act on the retirement request from the town employees. You'll notice that there is one. And everybody did get a file to show that information there.
I did not, Kevin.
Okay. Kathy, hold on one second. I'm going to, you also have your email up right now too?
No.
Oh, okay. I apologize, but in the future, we'll make sure we get you that file well in advance. We do have the printout here, and I know that you're not coming in, so I'll see if I can get you the file in the future.
Okay, thank you.
All right. So on May 6th, this was a request coming in for Humberto Rivera pension contribution. As of April 21st, 2020, the full pension contribution is $26,338.80. His original date of hire was 9/25/2013. He resigned as of 4/10/2020. He'd like a full payout at this point.
What was that amount again, Kevin?
I'm sorry.
26,000 what?
$26,338.80. And Kelly, this was the request for a full payout, correct?
Yes, correct.
Okay. So unless there's discussion on this item, I would just ask for a motion to pay Humberto Rivera's pension contribution for $26,338.80.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second that.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any other discussion? Hearing none. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Abstained? Motion carries. And that is all we had for the pension meeting for tonight.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
I'll second that.
Motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. So this is the step where we're going to actually get off of this meeting, go into the next meeting at 7 o'clock for the Board of Selectmen.
See you there.
Okay, thank you. All right, it is 7 o'clock, and we're asking that the Town of Plainfield Board of Selectmen meeting come to order on May 11th at 7 p.m. via Zoom. To a call to order a Pledge of Allegiance. If you wouldn't mind, we're going to see if we can do the pledge. And bear with me one second. If you wouldn't mind rising for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
Pledge allegiance
Flag.
to the flag
United
of the
States
United
of America.
States of America,
And to the republic.
and the republic
Stands.
one
One nation,
nation,
under God,
under God,
indivisible,
indivisible,
with liberty
with
and
liberty and justice for all.
and we'll do a roll call at this time.
Art Gagne.
Kathy Kendrich.
Kevin Cunningham.
Becky Hewitt.
And item C, which is the minutes of the May 4th. Discussion or a motion to approve?
I'll make a motion to approve the meeting minutes for May 4th, 2020.
I'll second that.
Motion and a second. Any discussion? Hearing none. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Item D, public comment. Hearing none, we can go right into new business. And that is, again, I'm going to ask Kathy, did you get the files on this yet?
I did not.
Okay. So what I'm going to ask, would you prefer us to send this to you electronically in the future?
Please.
Okay. We'll take care of that at the next meeting, whatever we do. What it is there's 3 refunds here. The consideration and acting on tax refunds as requested by the tax collector totaling $247.55 as follows. A-Car Leasing Ltd. for $205.68. And there's 2 in here for Jeremy J. Sendra for $21.19. And the second one for Jeremy J. Sendra is for $20.68.
I'll make a motion that we accept the tax refunds
As requested.
in the amount of $247.55.
I'll second that.
So we have a motion and we have a second. Any other discussion? Hearing none. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All right, so item F is other correspondence. We have not received any other correspondence. So at this time, entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
I'll second that.
Motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
And if you would go to your next request, and that is for the Water Pollution Control Authority, which will follow immediately. So as soon as we log off of here and log over to Water Pollution Control, we'll start that meeting. Okay, so we're going to start the Town of Plainfield Water Pollution Control Authority special meeting for May 11th, 2020 via Zoom. And I do a call to order and a roll call.
Art
Kathy
Gagnon.
Tendrich.
Art and Kathy, Becky,
Becky Hewitt.
and Kevin. Okay. And we have the minutes for the April 20th, 2020. Entertain a motion to accept unless there's any other discussion.
I'll make a motion to accept the meeting minutes from April 20th.
I'll second that.
Any other discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any public comment at this time? Hearing none, we go into item 1, which is just to discuss the 2021 budget for Water Pollution Control Authority. And again, I think, Kathy, you probably don't have a record of this, but I will definitely forward over to you.
Thank you.
Well, before we get to the next piece of this, there was a reason why there was a little pause between one meeting and the other. It's because I have it on auto record. So as soon as it goes in auto record, we come into the next meeting, and I know we were a little early in the last one, so it basically copied all of that, and it took a little while just to format it. That's why there was a minor delay. All right, so on the Water Pollution Control Authority, I will entertain the discussion on this, and basically what it is, there will be an increase in the rates. We had a rate, what was the current rate? Becky, do you know offhand?
$2.90 per use.
$2.90 per use, okay. This is gonna be going up to $4.12 per use as proposed. Some of the changes you will note in here, we are looking to increase the sewer charges because of multitude of items that are in here. And Becky, you're basically the impetus behind putting this budget together and helping that all out. There were some things in here which between yourself and Kelly can explain as to what's going on, as well as Stephanie, because thank you for jumping in, Stephanie. It's something we don't really want to do with the increase of rates, but we know that there's certain things we have to do, have to have inside of a budget. There isn't a lot of changes in most of it. There is one question I have for Kelly. If you take a look on the second page, it says debt. A 5.5 million project, and maybe Becky can explain a little bit about that. So why that's moving over, we're looking to actually put that all where it belongs, so to speak. Yes, Kelly, you're on mute. There you go.
Unmute.
There
Oh,
you
Kevin.
All
So anyway, so the $5.5 million project, what we plan on do is pay that out of the sewer use fee, not the sewer assessment account. Right now, we're looking at some capital purchases for the sewer department, and we don't want to deplete the sewer assessment account.
And that $5.5 million project of the 210,000, comparing that to what's in the regular general budget for the town,
Correct.
it's,
50%.
okay,
So it's 50% of what's actually debt payment due for 5.5 million. 50% from WPCA, 50% from general fund.
okay, that's why they're both listed in there, okay.
Yes.
And some of the items that were being purchased, to make sure that we keep up to time, Stephanie, you have an idea of what we're looking to put in there for purchases?
Yes, there's some capital improvement purchases over time, once we run out with that debt.
So there's a plan in place for the future.
Yeah.
Yep.
Pretty much the 5.5 million got a chunk of new equipment, but we still have a lot of old original equipment that still needs to be replaced that's still aging.
Right. If we fall too far behind in that, it could be very difficult, because then you might have to go out to bond it again just to catch up. So this might be a better way.
A lot of other sewer plants are, doing 30, 50 million. So I think the 5.5 was smart, but we still have a long way to go to make sure we keep up to date and don't get further behind.
I mean, we could have left the other part of that project over on the town side, but what we're doing in that case is we're looking at having everybody in the town pay for that particular function, when it's really just the sewer use people who should be paying for it to begin with. So blending it in like this it's a little bit of painful to those people who use it, but it's something that is really, in my mind, it was warranted to actually put it over there. And this is a $412 is the 6-month payment, so it's actually split.
Yeah, it'll be split, 206 each half.
Okay. And Kathy, I will send you all those files from discussions from tonight, and make sure that you have a copy of this. So again, this was just discussion for tonight. We anticipate that we'll be able to, by the end of the month, at our regular meeting, be able to discuss it further, or actually vote on it based on what we have in front of us.
We're going to have a public hearing on this, right?
Yes, you have to have a public hearing in order to make this budget pass.
And when we plan to do that?
Well, that's the thing. I mean, the idea is we put that information out there again, like we had to the public, allowing them input into what's going on via email, via the Turnpike buyer.
Mm-hmm.
Again, the selectmen have the right to go forward with this budget as is, but we'd like to have input from the public again. And in keeping the Board of Finance involved into what's happening here, so they understand that there's no, issues outstanding. I mean, maybe they can come up with some better ideas, but I think as you presented it between Stephanie and Becky and Kelly, you put together something which, puts more onus on those people who are doing the sewer uses. It is an increase, but it's still reasonable in some respects for an increase. Knowing all the things that you're still behind on. So
Yeah.
we have to do a really good job of planning those things out, and I think this is the first step. What other things are you looking for to add into this particular budget for capital items? Anything in particular, Stephanie?
So for this year, I mentioned where a lot of our roofs are going. They're all original roofs, and our boilers. I want to look into getting some of that looked at, because those are original boilers from the 1970s, 1980s. So I pretty much just want to get a lot of at least a couple big ticket items done each year going forward. So those are two of the things on the bucket list that I would like to get looked at this year or in the next couple of years.
Okay.
Once we start, using up some of our debts, instead of increasing it more, just once we pay off some more of it, I'm planning on doing more later on. So in like 2024, I think Becky said,
Mhm.
one of them, I think is going to be paid up. So we should be able to get a few more projects done around then, including, we're looking at possibly getting a new secondary tank, which Fuss and O'Neill, I think, estimated around 500,000 just for updating one new tank, not including refurbishing the 2 existing tanks we have that weren't upgraded during the 5.5 million.
Okay. And you've got that in the 5-year capital budget as well, so we know it's not a surprise. It's all right there.
Yeah, it's in the 5-year capital. But of course, we only spend that if there's leftover in the budget. So
Right.
I'm trying to make sure there's a little bit extra in the budget now that we increased it to get a couple items done.
You also have in here anything for vehicles?
Yeah, there's 2 vehicles in there. I
Okay.
think it's 60,000.
Yeah, Becky's right, 60,000.
Okay. And a slight increase for legal.
Yep.
Mhm.
Any other highlights that you want to mention, or you're dropping down on overtime, that helps out?
Mm-hmm. Salaries went up some.
Yeah, because this is also included as part of a contract revision. So that's one of the other big things we wanted to make sure people understand what is necessary here. It's actually necessary to make that contract revision, in my mind, to keep the people we have. So over the years, when you have a longer contract like we've had in the past, it's great because you have a long contract, but it's also not so good when you're comparing it to other towns and municipalities around us, because the fluctuation around us, they keep going up, and other people can say, well, I can go somewhere else and make much more money. I think it's only fair that we shorten those contracts like that one. I know in the past, some of those have been 7-year contracts. So sometimes it doesn't help. It actually hurts us. So I think we'll make the adjustment here if possible and move forward with that. I think those were the highlights really for the entire discussion, but I think it's fair to say that this is a starting discussion. I'll put that information out to Kathy. I'll put that information out to online, to the website, to the Facebook page. I'll put out for a public hearing on it, and also the Turnpike buyer to get that information out there as well. And Tom, you have a copy of this already? If not, I can get you a copy. We gotta unmute you. Hold on a second.
Yeah.
There you go.
All right. Can you actually forward me a copy, Kevin?
Yep. Actually, I will as soon as this meeting's over, Kathy, you're gonna get a copy, and Tom, you'll get a copy as well.
Okay, thanks.
So I have a question. For the 5.5 million project, what exactly between the town and WPCA is going into that this year or this coming budget? What would be-
The total payment of the debt?
Yeah, what do we, because we already approved some on the town
Yeah.
side.
Yeah, so like say that the debt payment is about 420,000. So out of the 420, 210 is paid by WPCA and the other 210,000 paid by the mill rate in the general fund.
Okay.
I mean, you could have moved the entire 420 over to the Water Pollution Control Authority, but that increase would be tremendous, and it probably wouldn't have been appropriate. So that's this way. At least it blends it in a little better. And what we say, 2024, that is debt paid off, roughly.
Yeah, the smaller projects, the clean water one and the USDA, I think they both retire about the same time.
Yeah, we do.
So it gives you a little more flexibility then.
Correct.
Plus your interest and principal on this one is going to continue to drop over the next couple of years also. So that gives you better flexibility.
Yep.
So I'm correct in assuming that the approved budget for 2020 for the town is going to
Yep.
be amended? Because
No,
right now, the debt principal that's recorded in here equal up to
Yep.
420,944.
When you look, okay, it does state that in there, but when you look on the front cover sheet of the general fund, 50% of it, you'll see a revenue source and it'll say WPCA, I think, payment on the very first page.
Yep.
and it'll show 210. It's like, I'm near the bottom.
Okay.
So that means revenue comes in from WPCA to cover the 420,000 payment.
Gotcha. I
The
see it
payment
now.
comes, the payment comes out of a STIF account we have with the town. Town of Plainfield STIF account, and the payment gets drawn right out of there and gets paid. So then I move money into there to cover it.
Gotcha. I didn't see it on the revenue side.
Yeah, no
Thank
problem.
you.
You're welcome.
Any highlights, or are we all set with the highlights? As we're speaking, I'm trying to search for the file to send to both Kathy and to Tom, but I will do that as soon as this meeting's over.
It was probably an email from Becky.
From Becky.
I'm sure it was Becky. Right, Becky?
I think so.
Yeah.
think- Last Thursday.
Updated sewer on Monday.
Could be.
Yep. That's the last one I have from Becky.
Okay.
Yes, that's the one I have. So I'm gonna, it actually came from Kelly going to, because I think you did some final adjustments on it, but let me just forward that over right now.
While we're still here,
Mhm.
one more question. The sewer use rate, this is probably for Stephanie, if she's still there. Is that compatible to the surrounding areas?
It varies. I've seen them higher and I've seen them lower, so I think the 412 is reasonable.
Okay. Not
Can
gonna
get
shock
you-
people.
Yeah, I can get you numbers of some of the local areas if you'd like.
No, that's all right. I just, because I don't know. I have a well, so I don't know what people pay.
Yeah, they range all the way up to 1,000 sometimes.
Wow.
All right, if I can get that correctly, there is your proposed budget for Tom and for Kathy to see. So that's why there's a rate adjustment here for the 412 coming from the 290. And you can see the highlights of what the changes are for adjustments. So there's a increase in the salaries because of the contract and a decrease in some of the overtime. Adjustments in health insurance. Then down below, there's the two vehicles that they spoke of. Also, probably this time is a good discussion item for the debt. You've got the clean water, USDA for MUSIP. Stephanie, do you have any comments on what each of those would be entailing?
Which one, the clean water?
Clean water?
That was before I was hired. Becky might have the answer for that. I think the USDA Moosup Pond, I believe, was for the E1 pumps that were installed all around the pond.
Yep.
But I don't know what the clean water one was for.
Was that the
I know-
Route 14A project?
The what?
Route 14A project?
It could have been. I know that was funding Clean Water, State of Connecticut, through
Or it could
State
have
of
been
Connecticut.
when they did the infiltration rehab to
Yep.
a lot of the pipes in town.
Yeah, I think that's what it was.
I
Yep.
think that could be it.
That sounds about right.
So those three lines alone equaling 352,000 is a large increase over the previous years. That's a major chunk of the, what takes up out of the increase from 290 to 412. So as we have questions going forward, I guess I'm going to see if I can have Kyle create a email address, and we'll keep links of those so that, like we did for the general government budget, if people have questions on that, they can send it there, and I'll make sure I put that in the link on the town website and the Facebook page, and also on the message we send out to the Turnpike buyer. So Kathy and Tom, I did send you both that in an email just a few minutes ago.
Thank you.
Okay, thanks.
All right. Any other discussion on this at this time? I'll give you some time to digest that over the next week or so, and we'll bring that up again at our next meeting. All right. So at this time, if there's any other, hearing none, entertain a motion to adjourn.
So move.
I'll second.
And all in favor, say aye.
All right.
Aye. And thank you very much. Have a good night.
Good night.
You too.
Bye.
Good night.